Hello there, I am Jason Walters and this is Taylor Hubler, both from Indie Press Revolution. Today we are joining you, not in where we used to film our old videos in the game room, because the game room has now been completely overwhelmed by shelving to house books and zines and other games for IPR, but from the main packaging area of IPR, where we put together orders to go out to people. And today we would like to discuss with you how to send products successfully to a distributor without having them be damaged. We have noticed of late an unfortunate uptick in the amount of products we get in that are damaged in their transit from the publisher to us, the distributor. And we thought it would be a good idea to go over some basic packaging techniques so that that doesn't happen to you as a publisher. This is, of course, for our publishers, but really it could be for anyone out there that needs to know about this. I'm sure anybody that is a distributor of role-playing games or any games or books of any kind.
Or really any product.
Or anything would be really happy to have their product arrive to them completely intact. Well, to start with, we should go over some basic tools of the trade for successfully packaging things. The first is a tape gun. Of course, it has little tines here to cut off tape. But you have to get used to pulling the tape firmly across substances, cutting it off in one smooth move, pulling, cutting, pulling, cutting.
Yeah.
A second thing that's surprisingly obvious is a box cutter, tool of the trade for packaging. So it's usually good to either cut with a box cutter away from you, or if you're going to cut towards you, to do it in a very careful, smooth, graduated way. Another thing that's very easy to do with a box cutter is to cut right through the top of your products and destroy all the things on top. So here at the warehouse, when we open boxes that come in, we have to be very careful to not drive it into the top of the first book on top and then pull it across. So all these things are simple in concept, but actually kind of complicated in execution. Be careful, take some time to familiarize yourself with them. An often neglected but important part of packaging are the corner pieces. Now, these corner pieces, you see we have two types here. One small, one large. We use these very extensively in packaging larger boxes or double boxing things to go out, usually to retailers. Now what these are actually for is they're sold to put strapping into the corners of pallets. So if you have a pallet full of things, you put this in the corner, you have strapping, you ratchet down, and it prevents the strapping from cutting into the products inside of a pallet. What we use them for is to slide in between two boxes, right? Thereby reducing corner impact. These are very easy to get from really any packaging supply company. They're pretty common. They're not tremendously inexpensive. They cost a bit. However, as you can see, they prevent damage to the contents from impact, both from strikes and from drops.
Now, while not as effective as these, you can take thick cardboard and make your own corner pieces, but you're going to want to have multiple layers to really make sure you can absorb the same amount of impact that these things can.
Better that than nothing.
Yeah.
Another technique is to take a common piece of chipboard, fold it, and fold it to create a corner piece. I've done this many times. It's not as good as these, but it provides a certain layer of protection from corner impacts. Again, not as good, but inexpensive.
Yeah. We also have packing material. We try to use recycled stuff that as much as we can. A lot of stuff comes in and that will have packing material that we will then reuse. Packing material is meant to take up space and provide crumple zones inside your packaging, so that if force does end up being imparted to the box, that force is going into the packing material and not into your product. We like to use paper. We try to avoid using plastic whenever we can. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes it is the best thing to use. We do not like to use packing peanuts. We find they shift around too much. They make a mess. and you can't really recycle those either.
Well, also retailers hate them.
Yeah.
With a passion. We don't actually hate them here. If it's a choice between using packing peanuts and not using padding, use the packing peanuts. But in general, recipients of shipments do not like packing peanuts, especially if they're unpackaging their shipment in a place of business that's also a retail space open to the public.
Yeah.
Where the packing peanuts proceed to get everywhere and stick to everything with static shock.
Yeah.
Very unpopular. So again, if it's a choice between that or nothing, please use it.
The other thing that we discourage, and our the retailers that we send out to discourage and don't like, is styrofoam inserts. Styrofoam breaks apart into very tiny particles. Those particles really like static cling, and we have products that have come in with that still to this day have little pieces of styrofoam on them. So they make a mess, they break apart in transit, and while they do a great job protecting the product, and they are better than nothing, it makes a mess that lasts a long time. So, yeah.
The next thing I'd like to discuss is cardboard. And as you can see, it has 2 layers of cardboard with some spacing in between right here. So this allows for a little bit of crush impact. Now, typically, your average print shop that's going to palletize and send you a pallet of product is not going to use high quality boxes. They will sometimes even use single ply, meaning one single piece of cardboard without the 2 layers of it with something in between. They will definitely not be thinking that you're going to take a box of product off that pallet, put a UPS label or a USPS or FedEx label on it, and ship it somewhere expecting it to arrive intact. What they're expecting is the product they've boxed and sent to you will arrive to you on a pallet intact. Right? These are 2 entirely different things. So do not assume that just because the printer has sent you a box of product that it is ready to go into the hands of shipping, into the cold, brutal, hard hands of shipping.
Yeah.
That involve dropping things, that involve flinging things into trucks, that involve things traveling down conveyor belts into sorting machines. The possibilities for damage are limitless.
I can even speak to that because I used to work for USPS, and have paid attention to their business practices going over the years. They are currently cutting back costs on quality control to try and keep things to be affordable. Those quality control checks that they used to have would prevented people from throwing product, tossing product, even the machines, keeping things from being stuck in the machines. Some of that has been taken away. And so we are seeing, especially with things sent through media mail, we are seeing more and more damage to the outside of the box and occasionally damage to the product inside.
And if you're shipping internationally, assume double that.
Yes.
If you're shipping internationally, assume that the box that you're shipping is going to receive the maximum amount of abuse that you can think of. Yeah. Another thing I'd like to point out in the interest of getting your product to a distributor without it being damaged is that if you're shipping it, again, through the postal service, through FedEx or UPS, movement within the box is your enemy.
Yeah.
Again, movement within the box is your enemy. You don't want anything you're sending to be able to move around or shift. You want it to be held firmly but carefully by packing material inside of that box.
Yeah.
Movement breaks things. Movement rips things or bends things or destroys things. We, like every other distributor, are not really a used book dealer, right? People that buy from us expect it to be, in comic book terms, either mint or very good, because they have to put it on retail shelves, or they want it for their collections, or it's going to a convention. They want the best quality, newest looking, crispest products they can get. There's really no room for us to sell something once a corner's banged in.
Yeah.
It has lost all value. So again, some products are a little more forgiving than others. people receiving zines. Zines get the most leeway in forgiveness. Then 6x9 soft covers get more leeway, and 8.5 by 11 soft covers, which get more leeway than hard covers, which get none. No one ordering a hardcover book expects it to be anything less than mint when they get it.
And those hardcover books oftentimes take the most amount of damage because the materials they're made out of and the way that they're shaped mean that once they're damaged, it doesn't bounce back. It holds on to that damage a lot easier than others.
Yeah, I can sometimes, with a small soft cover product, I have little tricks I can do. I'm the one that's or one of the two people in charge of examining damaged product here. So sometimes I get a zine that's maybe a little creased, and I can go, I can press that between this stack of damaged 8.5 by 11 hardcovers we can never sell, and maybe I can compress it to where it looks okay. There's little tricks. There are no little tricks with hardcover books. When their corners are damaged, they're
gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.